anything.
Come on, we still need jelly donuts and extra candle holders.
Pedal faster.
Horror anthologies are something that I quite enjoy, and we got a lot of them just a couple of years ago, and they were very varied. We got things like All Hallows Eve, Tales of Halloween, BHS and ABCs of Death. Most of them were using quantity over quality though, like ABCs of Death, which is a collection of 26 shorts. Yeah, that's a lot, and offers a lot of variety in stories, tones and quality. Unfortunately, most of them were on the bad side or quite mediocre. But there are some standouts, and you could rewatch whatever you like the most, from time to time. A lot of these shorts are also very cheap, and the whole thing is usually overwhelming with short stories. So you usually don't have that much time to digest the stories. It does have a nice film festival feel though. Like when you are on a festival and just go into a presentation of random shorts. It is something I respect more than I do actually like, but it's fascinating, in most cases. Deathcember follows a similar structure to ABCs of Death. One short for every day of the Christmas calendar. With some familiar faces and a lot of newcomers, this definitely gives a lot of creatives a chance to tell their stories. But is it good? Well, that is actually a question that is hard to answer. There are some absolute duds, there are some good shorts, but most of them suffer from either a lack of vision, talent or budget. The shorts are about 5 minutes long and the movie is feeling too long with almost 2.5 hours runtime. Something I have already mentioned in my previous reviews on Letterboxd, when I checked them again, and I also recommended to just watch one short per day. This time I split it into 2 sittings. I also watched the additional shorts in the collector's edition, but more about that later. Just as a heads up, I did watch the original uncut version, which has the controversial claymation short Crappy Christmas, which I will also talk in more detail later. In the following I will just talk about some of the shorts, starting with the good one, or at least decent ones. Like the one that revolves around a mother that is trying to return a present but doesn't have the receipts, which causes a fight to ensue that escalates quickly. Another short is about a robbery at Christmas, which is more of a Reservoir Dogs-like heist gone wrong, with a bizarre ending, but some nice moments throughout. There's also one about a group of women who are planning to kill a rapist but end up with a fatal mistake, in a short that feels more like it could have been from ABCs of Death. I also quite like the short by Lucky McKee, which shows 2 cowboys in a canyon who are stuck there after a monster attacked them, and they are both injured and can't escape it seems. They are also giving each other presents and wait for the inevitable. This one is also shot in black and white and is just a nice idea. With Sean Bridgers we also have one of the few recognizable faces. Even though he is not super familiar, you might have seen him already somewhere, like Room, The Woman, or Deadwood. Other people you might know if you are into horror are Barbara Crampton and AJ Bowen, who are also in this movie. The 2 last episodes are also the best of the anthology in my opinion. Unfortunately, the viewer is most likely already tired by this point. One of them, my absolute favorite, is about a family celebrating Christmas. It's set like a 50s sitcom or a nuclear family, but it soon becomes clear that this is more of a dark comedy that will end in one of the family members dying, despite the father being cheery and telling bad jokes, one of which actually wasn't that bad. It's overall just well done and actually funny, messed up and has a nice twist. The last one is Operation Dolph, with a Santa on a rampage, massacring an entire drug operation in the process. As we learn, he is looking for one of his reindeers. Not sure what the drug dealers wanted with the reindeer, but it is a fun idea, and what I hope to get from the Violent Night movie, kind of. Now some of the mediocre shorts, of which there are a lot. Like a hunchback being about to be executed, this one is kind of okay, but the terrible mask and cheap look are taking me out of it. There's also a short story about a boy who is dying, if there is no singing, and he ends up surviving for decades till he finds himself in the apocalypse. It's just a one-note joke with an okay punchline. There's also a giallo-like short and several with Krampus killing or helping people. But Krampus here just looks like a zombie Santa or an evil Santa in most cases. Most of these mediocre shorts are just over before telling anything of interest or making a clear point, like the short called Getting Away From It All, which was directed by Polyana McIntosh. The last tier of episodes is outright bad, like a Korean short about a man killing one of his daughters and preparing her to be a puppet for her twin sister. Or Aurora, a short which has probably the best effects but is a pointless story, which doesn't really fit to this anthology at all. Also, after the 24 shorts, there is another short in the credits, which is okay and can be described as a German The Grudge ripoff, but this time it's about someone who killed himself after being burned out by his work and is haunting the office. A okay short followed with the bad post-credit short about a wounded reindeer monster which is killing an entire family. That short is just super cheap and really kind of pointless and nonsensical. So as I said, this version has the controversial crappy Christmas episode, which I really started to despise. I watched this anthology already a couple of times and every time I liked this one less and less. In my first watch I was unsure how to feel about this one, but now I kind of hate it actually. It's about a boy who is kidnapped by a priest and then several times assaulted by a cardinal and a priest. Eventually Krampus is giving the boy a bag with presents, some of them rather deadly, and he finally escapes only to be run over by a truck. You might like the shock humor, but I think this was just too pointless and mean-spirited. It's like watching some crap like Brickleberry or Paradise PD, some awful shit like the worst Family Guy episodes. It's all shock without sense, without making any real point or putting an interesting twist on it. Crappy Christmas is quite fitting as a title because it's just shit, which is unfortunate as it is technically well made. There is even a longer version online, I think, that was created after a successful Kickstarter campaign, but I don't think I will watch it, to be honest. Actually, the UK and US version have a different episode here. Ring the Bell, which is about a father getting text messages from his affair, who is getting into the house when the kids are letting her in. The affair turns out to be a vampire and kills the parents, as she strips on the table and then thanks the kids for inviting her in. It's short and sweet. So this was the most mixed bag of mixed bags, so to speak. And unfortunately the flood of mediocrity is putting this one down. And the bad episodes here, and some of the bad episodes, are quite despicable, which doesn't help. In the end, I think I would give the film a 5 out of 10, but it is closer to a 4. And keep in mind, this is mostly because I like the idea and concept. As I said, it's something I respect more than I actually like. But there's more. As I said, the collector's edition has some more shorts in it. And those are mostly pretty good actually. There's a short story about a monster in a research facility that is just overall nice and one of the best, if not the best episodes, to be honest. Another one is about a monster, an actual monster, participating in a movie shoot for a cheap slasher movie. The monster is falling for the final girl, but everyone else is ridiculing him, and eventually he breaks. It's nice in execution, and while cheap it does work pretty well. And it is made by the same guy who made the Hunchback episode. So he seems to have a certain vision for his horror and can do good things. It's only a lack of money that is kind of hindering him, I guess. There's also a short fan film based on Friday the 13th, which was okay but not great, and also Thrill Kill, which is once again in the category short and sweet. It's not quite on the same level as Ring My Bell though. Most of these episodes are a bit longer than the Deathcember ones, but mostly pretty good, except for the last and longest one, which is awful and one of the worst shorts in general in this edition. And maybe one of the most annoying and bad shorts I have watched. It is from the same guy who made the episode that needs singing to survive. This short is called Nasty Stuff and is just an awkward and honestly very annoying short film. It's about a boy having an awkward family and feeling even more awkward when they have sex in school. He also watches his brother getting it on with his girlfriend, which he imagines to be a monster. It's just so dumb, utterly annoying and way too long. It's just terrible. The acting is atrocious, they try to make it all quirky and funny, but it is just awful. It's really annoying. And all the shrill laughing and screeching is just really bad. Every scene also goes on for way too long, and a bit more than half an hour. It really overstays its welcome. I think you could have made something interesting with the subject matter, but here they just fall flat on their face. And those shorts overall get a 6 out of 10. Without the last short it would be a 7, but honestly just look for Monster and Eddie and skip the rest. So, Deathcember. It's definitely no new creep show, but similar to ABCs of Death, an interesting concept with only a few standouts and the rest being mediocre or bad. But as I said, I still like the general idea. I also wouldn't mind a sequel for this or ABCs of Death. But seeing that this has been released 5 years ago, I don't think that it will happen. This was quite a messy movie, but if you want to see something very different on Christmas, then you could check this one out or just watch the good ones. Anyways, have a nice Christmas.
We still need jelly donuts and extra candle holders.
Pedal faster.
What was the agreement?
We split everything 75-25, and then it's Merry Christmas to all.
11 years, a good riding partner, that's something. Merry Christmas.
Ooh, crackers, is it? Oh, give us a go, love.
We've got a lot of work to do tonight.